Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. It's been a little while since we've done an unboxing, maybe a few weeks, so I will give you a hint. This is another modification for the BMW with a couple more things coming for the R8 over the next couple of months. So we'll go ahead and do the unboxing of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the install on the same day that I'm recording this or if I'm going to do it on a different day. It's still crazy hot down here and makes it uncomfortable doing anything to a car in the garage. So without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox this thing and see what we got. I wonder if I get more views if I like slice my finger while unboxing this and had some kind of clickbait like modification causes vlogger to bleed out. You never know. Okay. This is a RaceChip. This will allegedly provide a horsepower to the crank. I don't think this is to the wheel, but to the crank. Increase of 82 horsepower with a backpack type setup. Go ahead and record the install when I do it. Let's see if this is easy to open. It is. Nice packaging. Huh. Very nice. Nicely done. So this has the cabling in it. Behind it is the installation instructions, and then this is the actual RaceChip right here. Now I went ahead and I spent the extra 50 bucks and got the app that'll enable me to be able to use my smartphone to change the mapping and to deactivate the chip itself. So if I take it in for service or if I just want to run it stock, I can turn it off. So I thought that was kind of worth it versus going under the hood and fiddling around, taking the engine cover off and moving around the whatever dip switch there is under there. So anyway, I did that. I'll go ahead and show you guys how that all gets set up, and we'll take the car for a ride, see if there's any noticeable difference on the test drive. All right, thanks, see you soon. Well, it's been a couple of weeks since the unboxing, and the instructions that were sent and the instructions that are offered up online on YouTube really didn't match up with the F10 M5 engine. So thanks to the retailer that I bought the RaceChip from, I was able to get the factory manual. So given that, I now know how to proceed, and we'll go ahead and install the RaceChip. Let's go ahead and get started. So part of the installation required that the car be locked and all electrical current be allowed to exit the engine sensors. So I locked this up last night. It only requires about 30 minutes, so really no issue there. Next step was to go ahead and identify where the sensors are. So I'm going to go ahead and use a light and show you where they're at. So we're down in there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this box and this box to make room for me to get my hand down in there to get at the sensor. Go ahead and use a Torx bit to remove the 5 Torx screws from the airbox covers. Okay guys, don't try this at home. So my light's worn out, it's discharged. There was a screw over here, really tough to get out, like really, really tough. I had to jerry rig this tool to hold a little Torx to get it in there and then use my hands. But got everything out, and now we're gonna go and try and get to this tiny sensor down there. Actually, I'll give you a better light so you can see what you're dealing with if you're trying to make this happen. It is right there. If you can see the cord coming out of it. It's right there. So I'm going to go ahead and stick a screwdriver in there to release the catch, and then I hopefully should be able to force it off with the screwdriver, and then pull it, retrieve it with the screwdriver, plug everything in, and then go ahead and put everything back together. We have half of it complete. New sensor harness in, and working on the other side right now. I don't think I'm gonna have to take the box off because I can get my hand in there. I got this one hooked up, got the harness run through here. Let's actually just have it set up here right now. And I am refastening this airbox cover. So again, I did not need to remove this one. There was enough room in there to maneuver with my hands to disconnect the turbo sensor and reconnect it to the harness, and reconnect the male side of the harness to the turbo. So we're going to go ahead and get this tightened up. I put the MAF sensor back on, I reattached the hose here, and I'm going to put all the screws in except this really difficult one to get back. Let's see if you can see it back in here. I think you can see it. It's like, you can see like half of it. So obviously very difficult. I'm going to do everything but that in case there's a problem. That way I can reverse everything, but I have a feeling everything's going to go smoothly from here. Guys, well, that does it. Mounted the unit here, routed the lines all the way here, zip tied it back so it doesn't get sucked into the fan by some freak event while the fan is blowing out. Runs all through here, and then over here, zip tied it over here, and then the sensors are tucked back in there. So I'll go ahead and put the engine cover on and take it for a spin. Getting a code, drivetrain malfunction, and a check engine light, and I have an OBD, and I've ran it a couple of times and getting codes found. So I'm gonna have to figure out what the 70E8 and 70A are. I believe 70A is just saying something's wrong, and 70E8 is stating that it says the overboost condition, which is true. It shouldn't come up that way, so maybe if I drive it a little bit, it'll go away. I won't do anything crazy, but I'll go ahead and...
2 weeks later.
Alright, we're gonna lay into it a little bit coming out of this intersection, see how it does. Not in the wet though. Feels good. Not a huge difference, but I'm still in echo mode. So I put it under some load. Let's try on the next main thoroughfare. Then I might pull over and increase the tuning to the sport mode level 3. So I run this car in the M1 mode, which I've programmed as the sport mode all the way across, except throttle response, which I have at Sport Plus. Feels good. That's probably the mode that I'll run it in most of the time, is the Echo 1 mode, maybe Echo 2, and just to get decent fuel economy. And it's so easy to switch the modes with the app that really it's not a big deal to make a change on the fly. So anyway, with have that set, I'm going to go ahead and pull over and change the mode and see what the difference is like in that. I'll do a screenshot of the app also, and I'll include it in the video so you can see what I'm looking at. Sport mode level 3, which you'll see on the screenshot. And let's see how this thing does taking off out of here. It should be a really noticeable difference. Oh, good, nobody in front of me. Whoa, wow. Yeah, I got sideways. It was great. I don't want to hit the school kids here, so I'm going to slow down. Yeah, big difference. Okay, torque, horsepower, throttle response really unchanged, but yeah, there is definitely more power. That was great. All right, so we'll do some more driving with this over time. Once we get used to it, I'll give you some more feedback. And anyway, overall, I think it did what I wanted it to do. Give it a little bit more power. Well, I guess a little bit is relevant if you're talking about an 82 horsepower increase to a 562 horsepower car. It's a big gain. So anyway, I'll be really curious to see how it does on the highway, and again, like I said, I'll report back to you guys and give you my feedback. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the installation. Hope you enjoyed the review of the overall product, and more to come. Thanks for your support as always.